Hello and welcome to day 180 in this quest for a 2000 rapid chess rating on chess.com. So I think I hit a high so far of 1768, but now I'm in a slump for two games where they were both pretty rough. All right, let's see if we can do better today. All right. Will I have the white pieces or the black pieces? Let's find out. I think I had black the last two games, and I had trouble in both of those games. I got in time trouble. I had the alien gambit in the Caro-Kann kind of threw me off, and I just got in trouble right in the opening. Okay, it's taking a little while to find an opponent here as we wait. So lately I've been playing the Jabava London system with the white pieces. With black, if the opponent opens with the king pawn, I've been playing the Caro-Kann. All right, so I'll try this Jabava London again. See how it goes. All right. So the Jabava London, you play d4, d5, and now you bring the bishop up here. So this is the Jabava London, which it's called the Queen's Pawn opening Shigorin variation, but later it was named after Badur Jabava, a grandmaster who played with this opening and did pretty well. All right, so I bring this pawn up to allow my other bishop to develop, probably here. Okay, so they're attacking. I'm going to go ahead and develop my bishop. Ignore this pawn because if they capture, it does double my pawns up, but it helps fortify my d5 pawn. All right, let's see what they decide to do. Will they push their knight in here early and try and build up the pressure here? If they do that, I can just develop my other knight. So probably have to be careful. So I think I'm just going to develop my other knight. But the question is, do I develop it here or do I develop it up to f3? So e2 or f3. If I develop it to e2, it just backs up my pawn here. Now, if I develop up to f3 and their knight comes forward, I would probably have to capture with my bishop. So if that happens, So if they jump for, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. We'll just develop the other knight, castle kingside. All right, so here are they threatening to chase my pawn. I'll go there, leave a little gap for my bishop, and then get ready to castle myself. And I don't know if that was the best move. A lot of times you don't want to make those kind of moves like that. All right. Interesting, interesting. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and castle. Ignore what they're doing over there. Now my bishop. Okay, so they attack my bishop. So I'm pretty much forced to drop back here. All right. So that does leave me with that weak pawn. The problem is now, yeah, maybe I should have taken that pawn because this weak pawn is going to be a little difficult to defend. You know, yeah, so their knight jumps in here. And now what do I do? Because this queen will come down here next and just add pressure to that. So do I ignore that pawn? Do I ignore that and just bring my rook up? All right, probably need to bring my queen up. Oh, great. I just put my queen right where it can be attacked. I meant to put my queen over here on e1. All right, if they just take my queen, then I'm going to have to resign and just... oh my gosh. I was thinking of moving my queen over to e1, but I accidentally moved it to d2. All right, so I'm going to resign and just start another game. That was awful. There's not, I mean, I'll do a quick game review there. This slump is getting worse. I was playing a bunch of blitz games recently, and sometimes that'll mess you up on your slower games. Okay, yeah, that was just awful. Well, I'll do just the game review. I'm not going to dig into the analysis because the game was so short, and then I'll do another game. All right, so yeah, that blunder at the end. What should I have done here? I think I should have taken that c pawn with my d pawn. So all right, why did it just blasted through everything without showing me anything. So let's take a look at this. All right. So here, okay, it looks like I should have moved my knight to e2 to back up the other knight. That would have been better. Yeah, and then this move was a waste of time. It looks like I should have just castled immediately. All right. And then here, yes, I should have taken that pawn. So I have some work to do on this Jabava London. And now my bishop is driven back. Apparently I should have ignored that and threatened to fork up here. And then awful move. I meant to go to e1 and just blundered. Okay, I'm going to play another game. Let me get out of here. That way this video isn't like 5 minutes and it's done. Or usually I have the opposite problem. Okay, new 1510. All right, what is happening here? I hit new and it's not working. Okay, here we go. And I have the black pieces again against an even tougher opponent, 1790. All right, now what I was saying is if they play e4, I've been playing c6, the Caro-Kann. And then here is where I'm not sure. I'm just going to play the Queen's Gambit type setup. If they play c4, then I'm just going to do a type of Queen's Gambit. But let's see how they respond. They could play the London system, you know, with, okay, we have a Queen's Gambit, so I'm just going to play that like normal. All right. That blunder was awful. So make that 3 games in a row. That seems to be my problem. I'll be playing good for a while and then all of a sudden I get some I don't know, some bad games in there. Now here generally they'll either bring their other knight out or they could try and pin me. All right, so I'm just gonna go here. Bishop to e7. Now I'm ready to castle. I can bring my other knight out. Another option would be to bring the pawn up to c6. To fortify the center. All right, so now, I'll bring this other knight up first. And then bring my other pawn up to c6 to fortify, making the triangle formation here in the center. Oh, did I cause a problem here? Did I just mess up again? Now they can just jump in here, threaten a fork. Wow. We might have another bad game here. Huh. Yes, they find the move. The best. Oh my gosh, I should have played c6 earlier to keep that knight out of there. Okay. Okay. What options do I have? I guess I should go ahead and check my opponent. If I do that, then what? If I check my opponent, they could block with their knight. And then what? All right, I'll go ahead and do that. See what they do. They're in check. They'll probably drop their knight back to keep this pressure up here. Then what do I want to do? All right, so they do drop back with the knight. Okay. So I probably should just continue capturing there. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now what? Thinking I have to press forward here and attack their bishop to block this line. Oh man, yeah, I don't really know what I want to play with black against d4. I've been playing different things, and So my opening repertoire is not that great, and that's when you get, blunders and mistakes like this. The same in the Jabava. I'm still learning. I probably need to dig in the book more and start, I don't know, making little cards or something. Start memorizing the different positions. Okay. What do I want to do here? I could just castle and let them have this pawn. But then the problem is I'm going to have to move this. Hmm. Ah, not looking too good here. I mean, I don't know if there's a way out of this. I guess I could counterattack their queen, but then they'll have time to take with the knight and put me in check and then pick off my rook. Hmm. Could just castle and give up this pawn. But the problem is they'll attack my rook. I have to move it. And then that bishop will be a problem. All right, this could be another disaster. Let's do that. Another disaster. Wow. I don't know. I guess it happens sometimes. You just have periods of bad play. Hopefully, I don't know. I didn't sleep very good last night, so I guess I could contribute some of this poor play to that. It's like you look for excuses, but all right. Now, do I go here and just continue attacking? He could move here and attack me. So I'll just attack his. Attack his bishop. Hmm. Okay. Well, I guess I need to capture that. Am I just going to be down material now? Because if I capture, he'll capture with check. Hmm. And then grab my knight over here. This is just a disaster. I may have to resign this game. All right. What do I have here? Anything, anything. So if I take, he's going to take here with check. And then if I capture, his queen will capture. All right, I guess I'll play this out unless I have anything else, because I'll probably resign here in a few, but wow, if I don't know, if I resign already, maybe I should play a third game. You'll get 3 games in one video. All right. The problem is if he captures, then all right, I'm just going to resign this, I think, because now if I capture here, the queen could just capture. And the check is renewed here. So, but why not just capture here first? Anyway, yeah, I think I'm about to resign this one. And I don't know how long this video's been going. It looks like probably 15 minutes already. I may just jump into a third game. I don't think I've ever played 3 games in one video, but when they end this quickly, I want to at least give you one good game. Ooh. I probably should quit and regroup in the next video, but all right, I don't know what they're thinking about. They can just take this knight with check. Then if I capture, then they can go after. Yeah, they could take my knight with the pawn, checking my king. I would take with the bishop, and then yeah, I have no idea why they're thinking so long. I don't know. That always seems suspicious to me when there's completely obvious moves. Unless he's thinking about taking this pawn. Okay. So he does that, and that just renews that attack. All right. All right, I'm just going to resign here because this is just ridiculous. I'll play one more game, and then if I look at the game review real quick and it just blasts through the moves, I'll take a quick look at that real quick. So they played at 100% accuracy. Okay, that's a little suspicious. I mean, there wasn't many moves. So let's see. Yeah, there was only 10 moves, so that's possible. Let's see. So it liked that move, but white is ahead here. And then, okay, let me see what I should have played. All right. If I go there, apparently I should have brought that pawn up. I don't know. I might have to take a look at that because even that seems difficult to play. So they go here. That was the best move. They block. I should not have taken there. So what should I have done? Instead of that, I should have just blocked with this other pawn here. And then after this, it's a disaster. I take. Here, apparently I should have brought the other knight up and attacked that queen like I said earlier. Oh, and now I should have moved up here once again and attacked the queen. Wow, yeah, this game, but already, well, even if I go back at this point, I'm just pretty much losing. Okay, let me analyze this real quick. All right, so from the beginning, this is the Queen's Gambit declined, Queen's Knight variation. Okay, so these are all standard moves. They don't like that move. The best thing would have been to castle here. Or c5. Now they're saying c5 would have been better. So if I played c5, what if they jump that knight up here now? Well, here it looks like I should just go ahead and castle. Okay, what if they do that? They're saying black is ahead here. What can we do? If we attack the bishop. Okay, well, another example of not knowing this opening. So it looks like that's what I should have tried to do. You know, the bishop could go to e5, but then I could attack it with the pawn. Something like that. Well, another opening that I have to learn and improve at. All right, I'm going to play another game. I don't usually do 3 in one video, but because those first 2 games were terrible, let's see if we can actually get a good game out of this video. Okay, here we go. Now I'm down to a 1708 rating. Whew. All right. I'm just going to take the center there. Do that. So this is a kind of like a bird's opening Dutch variation. All right. What now? I'll bring my knight up. And then usually you want to try and get rid of this bishop if you can. I'll go there, see what happens. He could jump forward and attack my bishop. All right. I'm going to go there, see if I can get rid of his bishop. So that's good for us. We're able to get rid of his bishop, which defends his king. So I'll take that. Now, if we bring our knight up, that's probably the best move to make next. Although I'm wondering, you know, should I start marching this pawn forward? I'll just go here because now I could threaten to attack his bishop maybe and drive it back, which he retreats. Okay, we'll go here, centralize our other bishop, although I don't know, it's not doing much on this diagonal, so maybe I'll just play bishop to e7. All right, bishop to e7. So we have an attack there. Should probably go ahead and capture. All right, now we can castle. Looks like they're gonna attack my knight. Probably move this pawn up and gain space in the center. Well, that's interesting. Why would they do that? Oh, now because so they can press forward. But I don't know. It looks like I should just chase that knight out of there. Okay, he must want to push this other pawn, maybe? All right. Well, I could try and trade his bishop out of there. So I'll do that. All right. Now I guess I could... Oh, actually, yeah, I probably should go there. All right, he is left with an isolated pawn. So I could try to... I don't know if I want to take this rook off of this f7 square because pressure could build up there. So I think I need to bring my queen up. Bring the queen up to here. And then bring the other rook over. Oh, I have to watch out though because of the queen lined up here. There could be some danger of them bringing this knight up here. Yeah, threatening to take there. So I probably have to move this. Do I have... All right, any checks? I don't see any checks. If I... we'll just go there, bring that up, then bring my rook over to here. Okay, so he defends. Well, maybe I can centralize my queen more by going here. The problem is if I go here and he takes and I take with the... I guess I could take with the queen. All right, so we'll go there. I mean, would my opponent give up his rooks? Probably not. And now if he goes here, that'll just open me up. All right, all right. Okay. Huh. All right. Do I go there? Play defense? Or should I have just captured there? Maybe. Hmm. All right. Now I can just get rid of that guy. Okay. And then what? Then I should probably go after this other pawn. Does it matter with the knight? We'll go that way. All right. So he's gonna, line up on me. I'm gonna have to bring this over. Hmm. What now? What now? So he's threatening to take this pawn. What do I do about it? I need to push forward to prevent that. All right. Well, there comes the other one. All right, so we'll do that. Now we can drop our knight back and defend. Yeah, that's probably the best defensive move, I'm thinking. Okay, should I take with the knight or the pawn? Probably the knight would be more active up there, but then it could open up. If I take with the pawn, my queen can swing over and help defend a little bit better. All right, I will do that. And then that also gives me the option of checking my opponent's king. But this is where it gets dangerous, where you have to look out for checks. Okay. What should I do now? Deliver a check. And then what? If I deliver a check here, then maybe I could swing up here. Maybe I go here, threatening to take. So maybe that would work. All right. What do I have here? What do I have? If I go here, that puts my queen off to the edge of the board, which is not as good for me. His king can come in towards the center. So maybe I move here and attack. If I go there, the king steps onto the G file. And then what do I have? I need to centralize this king more. You know, maybe I should just go after the rook by moving here. All right, I'm wasting time. I'm going to go there. Then we'll go here. I need to get my king up and over. So maybe go to here, bring my king up to G7 where I can start attacking some. All right. All right. All right, I'm just going to go that way. Get my king involved here. All right, what now? Problem is he can swing over to this side. Could go here as well. Man. All right, I'm going to attack this queen. All right. Now what? I just reposition my knight, which is in an awful spot. Ugh. All right, well, what can we do now? Okay. If I were to, well, maybe I have to go here. We'll try that. That'll help guard the back rank in case the queen tries to get down in there. Or not the back rank, but guard the second rank. Okay. So there we go. Can I just take that? We have three attackers. Three attackers and only two defenders. So I can just go ahead and grab that. Wait a minute, did that just give up his rook? Yeah, now I can just take his rook. All right. Well, after all my blunders, now they blundered. All right, at least we got a win, and my rating is at 1725, so I'll go ahead and do a quick game review and analysis on this one, since it lasted more than two miniature blunder games like the ones before. All right, so it looks like I gained a small edge here with black and then gave it up and it was even. Then I regained my edge and almost gave it up again. So, we might have a few things to look at and see what we can learn. Apparently, my opponent played with 77.6% accuracy versus 81.9% by me. They played at an 1800 level. I played at a 2000 level. If you can, I guess I could move my image there so you can see underneath there. 18 versus their 2000. Or sorry, they had 18 and I had 2000, which was probably better than those first games. Woo. All right. Let's see here. Mistakes. They had one blunder. It was probably right at the end there where they just gave up their rook. But 5 inaccuracies for my opponent, 7 for me. But they had 4 mistakes and I had 1. And 2 missed opportunities. So we'll see what I missed. All right, the quick game review. It'll kind of blast through this. It was kind of an interesting opening, a G3 opening. All right. They kind of like a King's Indian attack or something similar. Okay, so it didn't like this pawn push. Apparently, they should have just developed their queen up here. And it did not like that. It looks like I should have captured with the pawn instead. All right, so that was a mistake. What do they like better? Oh, wow. They wanted them to just capture, sacrifice the rook. I would take, the queen takes, and then they can just check me back and forth and it would have been a draw. But, I guess their rating was higher than mine. They didn't want to take the draw. Or they didn't see it, maybe. All right, here the rook should have dropped back. Instead, another mistake. I should have pushed forward. And the blunder here, which allows me to just take the rook. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. I actually do some computer analysis here. So let me turn that on. I have the top 5 lines here. So G3, the King's Fianchetto opening. And that can transpose probably into quite a few different things. The King's Indian attack, probably a few other openings. I think sometimes the ready opening or the Catalan, the castle or Fianchetto on the king side. All right. This is the bird's opening Dutch variation. The bird's opening is usually when you push this F pawn out first. But I guess the Dutch variation is, after you push the F pawn, you push the G pawn. And then Fianchetto here. All right, so I play this to block the scope of the bishop. But I guess that was an inaccuracy. An immediate H5 would have been better to try and get ready to target this and break open that Fianchettoed position. All right. So next we have knight to F3. Just developing. I developed my knight, but they like G6 better. All right, so both of us are developing. Here I was wondering if maybe my opponent would drop his knight in here and counterattack my bishop. But, that didn't happen. So, castling, the best move. And right now the game's dead even, or close to it. And here I create the battery, trying to get rid of the bishop. I mean, I guess my opponent could have backed his bishop up here and kept it, before my next move. And then I could attack the rook, but they can just move that. And apparently queen to c7 would have been a better move. So now this was the best move. So I try and trade off the bishop pair, or not the pair, but trade off these bishops, the light squared bishop, to create weaknesses, light squared weaknesses around their king. And that is an inaccuracy. I mean, I guess he wanted to move this here on this diagonal, so I wouldn't have any surprises leading to their king. If my queen was on that diagonal, I could check and then maybe take that pawn. All right, so I exchange off the bishops. The king captures. Now I just develop the knight, although they prefer c5 here. Bishop retreats to g1. That was the best move. I don't know. That was the best move, and it makes me wonder. I think there's probably a lot more people cheating on chess.com than you would think. And they're getting smart. They know that they'll get caught if they pick the best moves every time. So sometimes I think they're just putting in a few okay moves and mixing that in with the best moves. But, who knows? All right. We fortify the center. Our opponent responds by developing the knight. And now what? We just develop here, although bishop to b4 would have been better. Oh, I could have immediately tried to trade off the bishops, but they could push forward here and chase my bishop away. So I don't know if I'd like that move. An attack in the center, another best move. Capture, capture, and castling. So now, probably should immediately go here and threaten to attack the queen. But first we have this move, which is an inaccuracy. A4 apparently would be better, just gaining space on the queen side. So I chased their knight away. E5 would have been a better move, it looks like. Knight retreats back to there. Wow. Okay. Now the attack. Although b4. Oh, earlier it said bishop to b4 and I thought it said c4. So I got that wrong. It wanted me to move here and attack the knight. All right. My opponent is trying to break things open a little bit here on the queen side, or on the king side, sorry. F5 is a mistake. Queen to F3 would have been better. I capture, but bishop takes immediately would have been a better move. So, and then they find the best move here. Capturing with the rook. I don't know. You think like an average player would probably have captured with the pawn, keeping all their pawns together, but, well, that pawn would have been backed up by the rook, so I don't know. I mean, who knows what's going on with, as far as people using computer help. Okay. Queen takes on G1. I develop my queen. Rooks double up. That's an inaccuracy. Getting this knight back into the game apparently is better. So I play this to free up my rook, in case the queen wanted to capture that pawn, but that's an inaccuracy. Apparently knight to g4 would have been better. Oh, because there the knight could try and blockade up in here maybe. Blockade the pawn. All right. The rook lines up on that, putting pressure. The king, or excuse me, the queen defends. So I'm thinking of trading off one of these rooks so I don't have this battery lined up here. And the best move, that way if I take, the pawn can take, and the pawns will help each other, being side by side instead of separated. All right. They don't like that move as much. It says it's a good move, but queen to b6 would have been better, targeting this pawn. So here, the pawn push, the best move in the position. I capture, but it would have been better to capture with the pawn. And that was a mistake. Capturing, wow, a big difference here. So if I would have taken with the pawn, black would be ahead by the equivalent of a pawn. Interesting. But, what do they recommend? If I would have taken this way, they would have taken anyway. It probably would have been the same position. They take here, and then, oh, apparently I don't have to capture there. I could just push up and attack their rook. All right. So we trade off. They have a battery lined up. I have to play g6 to keep the game even. And here the best move is to just go ahead, capture. I capture. And then perpetual check here because I have to go here. They check. I go back. And it would just be a perpetual check back and forth and a draw. But in the game, we have, well, let me go back a little bit. I go here and they push that pawn. A mistake. King to g7 is best. But I play an inaccuracy. Rook to e8. right. So now what? I should have moved my king up, apparently. So if we look at that, king moves up. Then what do they recommend? Queen over to h2. Huh. They recommend queen to h2. I would have just captured that. I would have traded queens off the board, probably. Okay, anyway, in the game they pushed h4. I centralized my rook. And now we have the pawn pressing forward. And knight to e5 is better than knight to f6. So I went here, which is a good move, but this would have been better. Knight up to e5. Knight up to e5, and then they recommend queen to g3, lining up on my queen. And then I should go queen up to d6, threatening to what? Oh, I don't know, maybe move over here and come in this way to attack. All right, in the game we had h5. I defend by dropping my knight back. And the reason I did that, I thought, well, maybe I need to cover this as well. But, you know, h7, but I don't know. Obviously that wasn't the best move. So now, capturing with the pawn is a little bit better. Oh, now it's saying capturing with the knight. Capturing with the knight is best. The computer's kind of switching back and forth on this. So I capture with the pawn. All right, we have a check. King moves up. Now it's saying knight to e6 would have been better. Chasing that rook away. Okay, so a mistake here. All right, this is a miss. Queen up to b4 would have been better. But man, I thought I had to play defense. But I guess my knight is doing a pretty good job. The knight and rook. All right, that was an inaccuracy. Apparently, they should have just exchanged off queens here. Now we have knight up to d7, an inaccuracy by me. Knight to h7 would have been better. Queen drops back. And apparently queen up to g5 would have been a better move. So that was a miss. Knight up to f6 would have been a better move. Threatening to capture and attack the queen, apparently. And the blunder that ended the game. So what should they have done here? Rook to f4. And the game would have been pretty even here. Black, I don't know, black has a slight edge, about a little bit less than half a pawn advantage. All right, well, that was it. You know, feel free to leave comments. You know, if you want to say how disastrous those first two games were. Wow. So I guess I've ended my 4-game blunder streak with or 4-game losing streak with this win. So now my rating's at 1725. And I need to, I don't know, make some improvements if I want to get close to 2,000. Okay, feel free to leave comments, like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.